Hi, welcome back to Crossfader. I'm DJ Holland and I look after App Academy, the series where we look at mobile DJing. Today we're going to have a look at the brand new Pioneer DDJ 200 controller, their new entry-level controller, which works alongside their brand new app, DDJ. Let's begin. So here we have it, the Pioneer DDJ 200 controller. And the first thing that strikes you when you come to this controller is just how small it is. It's a little under 38 centimeters wide, and it's an all plastic construction. There's no audio ports on the back, just a single USB-B. So there's no audio outputs, and there's no headphone jack either on the front. We do have controls over our cue, but we don't have any headphone volume adjust, any cue mix, and we don't have any gain knobs at the top, as all the audio is handled by the device that you're controlling with this. It's more of a remote control for your applications than it is a full-on DJ controller where the audio and everything gets processed through this. So how do you connect this to your various applications? Well, there's a Bluetooth logo here, and I know what most people will be thinking. They'll be thinking Bluetooth, it's laggy, you can't DJ with Bluetooth. Well, this is where Pioneer have got a bit clever. What this unit is doing is it's transferring over Bluetooth just the MIDI data. So when you make an adjustment or you press a button, rather than trying to manipulate the audio in here and try and send the feed back, all this device is doing is just telling your phone, your iPad, your computer, whatever you wanted to use this with, it's just telling that exactly what adjustment you've made, and then the device itself will process that information. So it's light, it's portable, it's very cheap at £139 here in the UK, which is about $145. It's unbelievably cheap. And how Pioneer have made this so cheap and so small and so light is by removing key features that you can use on the device itself rather than on the hardware. So you'll notice we've got no headphone adjust, no audio adjust, no trim knobs. You've just got a basic 3-band EQ, a color effect knob, 2 faders, large tempo faders, which are great to see, very small but capable performance pads. We're missing the looping functions that we'd usually find up here, and we're losing the performance buttons here to choose what pad mode we need. But all them settings that I've just said are missing, they're all going to be in the application. So how do we connect this to the applications? Well, there's a few applications you use it with. Pioneer recently released the DDJ app that goes alongside the DDJ 200. It's designed to work flawlessly with that. So we'll get into that and see how that works first. Included in the box is this cable here. This is a mono split cable. Don't confuse this with the cable that you'd share music with your friends when you want to share your iPod or whatnot. This is a specific cable which sends 2 different sources of audio down each split. On the white one here, we've got a little headphone emblem. So that's where we'll plug in our headphones. So let's do that now. We'll plug our headphones into that one. And on this right hand one, we've got a speaker icon, and we plug that into our speakers. That leaves us with one headphone jack. Now, if your phone has a headphone jack, plug it straight in. This being an iPhone, however, you will need one of these, which is a little lightning to headphone adapter. So we'll plug that in. Plug that into your phone. And now it's time to launch the app. Once you're in the app, you need to connect power to the DDJ 200. The power is plugged into this USB Type B here. So now everything's connected and we've got power to the device. We've launched the app, and what we're going to do, we're going to tap on the settings, and you can see straight away there's a setting there that says connect to the DDJ 200. We press on that. There's the DDJ 200, it says not connected. Tap on that again, connecting. And we get a nice little animation to let us know that we're on and we're connected. Now, the DDJ app brings with it a brand new streaming partner. You can now stream files from Beatport. which is a first on any given device. To load a track into your decks, simply tap above the track name. And here on the bottom left-hand corner, we can choose where we're getting our music from. We can select from Beatport, SoundCloud, local files, and My Music. My Music is files that have been imported via iTunes, for those that are a bit confused about that. So you can select on any of these and it'll ask you to log into your accounts. Note, with Beatport and with SoundCloud, you're going to need to pay for the subscription on them given services. But if you pay for them subscriptions and you have an account, you can log in and play your files from there. What we can do with this controller is we've got 8 performance pads, a lower of each deck here. And these are controlled via the pad mode select buttons down at the bottom of the app. The first one we have is hot cues. So we can set a hot cue and tap it again to get played. We can set these throughout the track. And if we're not happy with one of our hot cues, we can just press the shift button, tap a pad again, and that deletes it. We can open up our hot cues panel on the app by pressing on it. And we can see there the hot cues we've set. If we manually want to set another one, we can do it just in the app. Like so. Like I say, hold shift and delete. Our next performance pad mode is loop. Now, when you're playing a track on this loop mode, this will automatically activate a loop and hold you in it when you tap a pad. Tap it again and you leave the loop. Again, if you tap on the loop button down here, you can see the values. Unfortunately, the largest loop you can do at the moment is 8 bars, which isn't the longest, but that might be changed in a firmware update. Another top tip that you can do is you can set a loop, and as long as it's active like that, you can then go and put a hot cue on that loop. So if we just add a hot cue. Now you see that hot cue is yellow and has a little loop icon inside it. Basically, whenever we, say for example, we're playing that track from there, if we want to jump straight into that loop and keep it active, we just hit that hot cue now, and it activates the loop and holds us there. And if we want to exit that loop, we can just go into here and exit it. There's also manual loop mode. Now to get to that, open up the loop panel, press manual, and we have in, out, re-loop. So what we can do is, re-loop will take us into our already played saved loop, which we've just had that 1 bar, but ignore that. In and out. There we go. And then the lower 2 pads, we can half our custom loop and then exit it with the top right hand pad. If we want to re-enter that loop that we just made, tap it again. DJs that have used Rekordbox before will be familiar with the pad effects section, very popular in Pioneer controllers. These are effects that are applied momentarily whilst you hold a pad, and when you let go of the pad, they release. So for example, flanger there. We can open up the pad effects, see which ones we've got. The great thing about these pad effects, they all work post fader. So if we apply an effect and then pull the fader down, we can hear the effect continue out. If we want to change these effects, we can do by pressing edit in here. Say for example, we don't like the flanger. We just press on the lower bit there, and we have all these fantastic effects which have all been taken from Rekordbox, and we can just say we'll go for a pitch down 60. There we go. That's reassigned. That's how you change your effects. These are brilliant, these pad effects. We really like that. The final mode we have for our pads is the sampler. Now, the sampler comes with samples from Loopmasters. These are high quality samples and they sound great. And what we can do in here, we can just We can trigger them via the pads or on the screen, and they're just simple sound effects that go over the top. We've got a volume for them here, so if you want to we can change the samples that we have in here. We can change them individually out by picking from the packs that are included, or we can change the pack entirely. Or if we want, we can create our own pack. So if we take certain parts from certain mixes, we can make our own. Yeah. When you want to leave, if you've not saved your new pack, you can do, but we'll just leave it for the time being. And that's your basic pad modes. Like I say, you can't change these sadly on the actual controller itself. You have to do it on the unit, but they work great. Another performance feature we have in terms of effects is the touchpad. This is a lot like the Korg Chaos pads for the DJs that remember them. It's a fun way of combining two effects together at the same time. We can choose which two effects by hitting edit here and choosing a couple of effects that we want. So it's worth noting this top effect here will actually change the color effect setting as well. So usually this is a high pass, low pass filter. So on the unit itself, the bottom knob, that's a filter. But if we change it on the XY pad to say noise, that will also change the color effect knob. It's for that reason that we usually leave that top one. We'd recommend you leave that top one where it is and just change the side one, because that doesn't affect anything. If you find a certain sweet point on this Korg style Chaos pad, this touch effect pad, you can hit this hold button in the top left hand corner and it will hold it there for you, and you can move it around more of a static item. Press hold again and it will release. Another performance feature we have on this unit is slip mode. You can activate it just by pressing slip just there on the lower right hand corner or left hand corner for the deck one. And what you do here, what slip does, it allows us to activate certain features and the track will carry on playing underneath. So for example, we can hold back and when we let go, it'll skip to where it should be. This also works with hot cues, so if we just set one. It's a neat little feature, and it's a very capable feature for a unit that's aimed at beginners. To have these advanced performance features in it is fantastic. Following on from slip mode, we also have slicer mode. You can access this just by hitting on this down arrow here and pressing slicer. Now you can't access this in the DDJ 200, it's solely in the app. But what it's doing, it's chopping the song down into the individual beats, and then you can tap and play them individual beats whilst the track keeps playing underneath, like in the slip mode. Again, another advanced feature which is great to see on such a beginner unit. You can manually beat match on this unit if you wish to, using the tempo faders and using the cue buttons here on the unit itself to output your mix to your headphones, and you can manually beat match that song in. However, with this being a controller and packages designed with beginners in mind, there is sync involved, as there is with most controllers these days. To activate it, you can press either of these sync buttons on either side. Press play. And it's as simple as that. However, as many DJs will know, sync will take care of the beat matching for you, so you don't have to manually beat match. It takes that part of the performance aspect out of it. However, you can still be out of phrase. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what I mean by that, phrases or sections of the song that are broken down into like 16 and 32 bars. An easy way of thinking of this is like a chorus or a verse of a song is a certain phrase of the song. Now, if you manually beat match these songs in, or you sync and you're matching them songs in, but you don't press play at the right time, you could end up with a chorus on this side of the song hitting maybe the back end of a verse of this song and the vocals clashing or the melodies clashing, and that can sound a bit jarring. So even though you're perfectly in time on the beat, you can be out of time with the phrasing. With that in mind, Pioneer have come up with a new feature called Phrase Sync. It's the first time we've seen this on any Pioneer hardware, to be honest. You can see how it's analysed the song in the app itself. In the middle of these two waveforms, you can see that one of them says bridge at the moment and the other says chorus. Now, that's where the app has determined where the song is with its phrasing. So, with that in mind, if we're, say for example, mixing this first song, and we want to make sure this is mixing in perfectly on time and in phrase, we can hit this big button in the middle, Phrase Sync, and you can see it's automatically started playing this song on the right hand side and started counting down the beats. You can see as well that the beats are perfectly counting down together, and when they get to 0, you will be able to move the crossfader across and perfectly mix, not only in beat and in time, but perfectly in phrase as well. So we'll just wait 10 beats and we'll make that transition. You'll hear it for yourself. No clashing, perfectly in phrase, perfectly in time. Another new feature, which is unique to the DDJ app, is this middle button here, the transition effects. You can access these with the on button here in the middle of the crossfader. And how these work is we have an XY diagram, as you can see. So left hand side we have cutting style effects. These are effects where you're going to, rather than blend and mix the songs together, you're going to stab one straight in, cut it in. On the right hand side we have effects that are going to mix and blend the two tracks together. The upper half are all build-up songs, so when you're trying to build up the energy, and so maybe towards a big drop, a big dramatic drop in your track. On the lower are breakdowns, you know, towards the end of a song, not as much energy. How these effects work, well, you click one, so we'll go noise, echo, mix. You apply it here. With this being a mix, we're going to be mixing these two. No, I've gone for a mix, not a cut in. So we'll get the other track playing. And then as we move the crossfader across, did you hear that effect it made? It built up noise and then echoed that noise as we transferred over. Now we'll go for another one, we'll do a roll mix this time, we'll go back the other way. Both songs are still playing. So when I'm mixing with the crossfader, the app is applying effects on my behalf to make that transition sound better than it would if I was just to manually do it. We'll give it a go on the noise cutting. Get that track playing again. With this one, I'm going to leave this track not playing. This is a cut-in, so I'm going to leave this track not playing and watch what happens when I move it across. It automatically played that song for me and did a nice sweep of noise before it came in. Let's try it again with echo out cutting on this one. We'll go back to this side again. Again, you saw how it started playing for me. One more. Another great feature of the DDJ app is the ability to record your mixes inside the app itself. To record your mix, just next to the logo here, you can press record. You can record your mix. And when you're done recording, you can just tap it again. Once you're done recording your mix, tap in anywhere to load a track and you can go to your recordings list. Here is our recording that we've just made. And this is a really neat feature. We really like this. You can then press this share button here and you can upload your mix to SoundCloud or Mixcloud directly from the app. That's a great feature. It'll save so many DJs so much time having to pull the file off the phone, put it on a computer and then upload it. None of that. Upload directly from the app. It's a fantastic feature-packed app, full of power. You can do everything here. You can learn on the app and then move on to more performance-based features. It works perfectly with the controller. We really like this. It's a really smart move from Pioneer. It's fantastic. Now, the Pioneer DDJ 200 works perfectly with the DDJ app. As you'd expect, they were released at the same time. They're built by the same people. They're designed to work hand in hand. However, the DDJ app at the moment is only available on iPhone, sadly. So Android and iPad users, you're out of luck. I'm really sorry, but Pioneer say it's coming soon. We can only hope that's sooner rather than later. So what do you do if you want to use the DDJ 200 with anything else? Well, Pioneer have allowed other software developers to utilize the DDJ 200 in their own applications. So a long-standing favorite app of a lot of DJs has been Algorithms DJ, and you've got MWM with their DJing mix. So they've both been allowed to utilize the DDJ 200 and make it support their apps. Now, both these apps not only work on iPhone, but they work on iPad and Android as well. Not only this, but they also have different streaming partners. So DJ is well known for its Spotify integration, and EDJing is a Deezer supported application. So if you don't want to use the Beatport or SoundCloud that you have within DJ, you can use these other applications to use the controller with a streaming partner of your choice where your subscription may be. So we've got an iPad Pro here and we're just going to launch Algorithm DJ, and I'll show you how simple it is to get started on this. Now, the iPad, again, the speakers would control the audio. So what we can do is we can plug in the exact same speaker setup, you know, the same cable that came with the DDJ 200 and the adapter. We can plug this straight into the iPad. Click OK on that because we've enabled split output in the settings for our headphones. We click OK on that and we're into the app. We'll quickly go to the settings. We'll go down to MIDI devices. And from there, we're going to go into Bluetooth MIDI devices. And you can see the DDJ 200 has popped up. Press the button, connected, and we're away to go. What we're going to do is we're going to load a couple of tracks in. There we go, 2 tracks in. And you'll see that everything works as it should do. That was a bit loud. So everything's mapped out as it should be. Now, as standard, we've got a high pass, low pass filter on the filter knob, 3-band EQ, faders, sync button, and then our performance pads. Now, with this not having the same development as the DJ app, you can't select what pad mode you have. So what Algorithm have done, the bottom 4 pads are hot cues. Hold shift and you can delete them. The top 4 rows are loops. Ranging from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 bars. And then if you hold shift, you can delete hot cues and the top row become rolls. Another nice feature that they've included on the app is if you press transition effects, When you pull the crossfader across, obviously we don't have all the cool effects we had in the DJ app. However, did you hear that? With the transition effects button on, it applies a high pass filter as you sweep across, just adding a nice little touch to your mix. Off, just a plain mix. On, high pass filter moving across. Now, a really nice thing about the DJ app from Algorithm is its Pro subscription. If you're a Pro user on this, you can use the 200 throughout. So we can video DJ on it if we wish. We can send this output to a screen from the iPad. Bring that up bigger for you to see. I mean, that's really, really impressive stuff from a £139 controller. If you don't like the default mapping within what Algorithm have set up for us here, you know, you don't like the rolls when you press shift, or you don't like the hot cues being there, or you want to change something and maybe change it up a little bit. If you're a professional user and you've got the Pro subscription, let's put it back in classic for the time being, we can go to the settings, we can go to MIDI devices, we can go to DDJ 200, and then as you can see, these are all the mappings for the buttons. So if we say, for example, we want the bottom pad here, which is normally a hot cue, we press that button, it's highlighted on the app, we press it again, Q4. We don't want it to do Q4, we want it to be a sampler. Sampler, I want it to play sample 1. Come out of there, press save, done. Now, when I'm playing the track, set my hot cues as usual. However, this fourth one is now a sampler. That is really advanced stuff, and it is a beginner controller, so I'm not expecting everyone to want to do that, but it shows the functionality and the power that you have within this app with this controller. It's fantastic and we love it. It's a great place to begin, and then you can keep using this controller all the way through to learn more advanced features just like that. Rekordbox is a free download from the Pioneer website, and in its free mode you can use it to analyze files and export them to a USB stick if you're to use them with, I don't know, an XDJ or a CDJ player. But if you want to access performance mode, you'd either have to buy an expensive controller such as a DDJ 1000 or a DDJ RX, or pay $129 for a license code. Now the DDJ 200, when you plug it in, unlocks performance mode free of charge. It is a dongle, so you don't get a license key, you will have to plug this in every time. But what it allows you to do is to use this tiny little entry-level controller, but with all the features of an expensive piece of software like this. So we plug it in, and it's natively mapped out, so everything starts working straight away as you'd expect, you know, all your jog wheels work. Now at the moment that is coming out the laptop speakers, of course we've got no audio output on here. So what we need to do is, if we just grab that same mono split cable that we have done in the past, we plug that straight in. And then what we need to do is make sure we click this button up here, this mono split button at the top here. Make sure that's activated. Now our headphones, all the cue functions, everything works with the headphones. Now, just like the Pioneer DJ DJ app, we can now change these pad modes again. So we've got hot cue, beat loop, pad effects, and of course sampler, which we can access down here. Now with the sampler, what you will need to do is you will need to open up the sampler pad and add your own samples in, they don't come pre-mapped. All the other functions work as you'd expect. We don't have any transition effects unfortunately in this mode, so that button, even when you press it, doesn't do anything. But what we can do is we can activate sync, transition across just like that using the Crossfader. You just don't get them cool automated effects like you do in the other modes. Now, to access more advanced features within Rekordbox, we'll have to use our mouse and keyboard. We can't use the buttons on here. We could, if we wanted to, remap these buttons by pressing the MIDI button up here. And in here we can remap all the functions, but we're not going to do that today. But what we can do, for example, is we can use keyboard mode, which is a very advanced piece of software algorithm where you can basically re-pitch a track on the hot cue and almost treat your hot cues like a keyboard, you know, like a melodic note. So to access that, we can just press down here, hot cue, and we'll go to keyboard mode, keyboard there. We'll access it on the first hot cue, and now, if you listen to what happens, and that's just been used on the mouse. We could remap it if we really wanted to these performance pads, but to say that we can use functions like that within a $129 piece of equipment, it's unbelievable. Honestly, it's amazing. I can't get over how good that is, value for money. And there we have it, our full review of the DDJ 200. The cheapest, lightest, most accessible controller to date. This is perfect for beginners, absolutely perfect. We love it. The versatility between the apps that you can use, especially the Rekordbox integration. You can start on this controller and not have to upgrade it for a long time until you want to go out and start playing in other bars and places like that where you'll need the audio input. Until that day, this is a perfect solution for most people. If you want to see a mix of this controller that we've put together, you can do it by clicking here, and make sure you subscribe and keep tuned for more videos from Crossfader. Thanks.